Sure.
So what we're looking at is, so we want to see more awareness, all right, and more energy generated towards getting hemp to become a part of an energy, a part of the American energy system, you know.
Sure.
And when we look at it, because we're looking at this, you know, we go back and hemp is as American as America. I mean, in the good part, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the Constitution was written on paper, hemp fiber. The flag, the first flag, America became a country and flew their colors on a hemp flag.
Right.
You know, see, so when you go into it, it's been an integral part of the history, and when we look at what's going on now, because you look at like, and we're saying, we're trying to be as coherent and practical as we can about it. So we're saying, let's raise some attention about this, and let's get this happening. Let's put our energy into helping hemp become an alternative energy, you know, and it'll help us to reduce the dependency on oil. I'm not saying it's going to stop them from doing oil. I'm saying, but it'll help to reduce the dependency on oil, just from that end of it. You know, besides all of the nutrient, the food, everything else that it can go into. And so I guess really in the deal with our, you know, and I know that we're going to be doing, at some point, there will be some shows probably done right around this, around
the concept and the promotion.
Around the concept, yeah, you know,
and
we're kind of looking, you know, we, towards people of the land, who work on the land and depend on the land, and how this could really, and hemp as an economy could really help farmers. It could help, you know, and so we have some plans. But anyway, right now where we're at on it is, and we're looking in terms about raising consciousness. We don't need to create a new organization to represent hemp. What we're looking at is, well, let's look at all the organizations that exist, individuals and organizations, and what we're asking is, hey, would you think about, you know, just seriously think about starting to communicate this, put some energy into communicating about hemp as an alternative energy resource, start putting some real energy into communicating it as clearly and coherently, you know, to people, so we can start to get it to become a part of what's being thought about and discussed. And I think that oil spill thing happened, that volcano of oil, you know, makes it possible, if we would go after it coherently, I think it makes it possible for more people to be open to hearing what we're saying.
Yes, it does. You're right.
You know, and we're talking about hemp. I mean, nothing, but because hemp, when we look at it for the medical marijuana, well, we all have our understanding about that, but when you really look at it, hemp has its own identity too. You know, and I think, especially in areas of, when you're looking at trying to get it legalized and things like that, well, maybe the hemp people should be now hemp. I mean, that people whose interests are in hemp, people that never smoked a joint, but hemp they understand, right? Or if they did smoke, it's that smoking isn't the issue, it's about hemp itself, and putting some focus on hemp. You know, so we're asking anyone, or I'm asking anyone that hears this or goes to the site, you know, if what we're saying makes sense to you, then what we're basically asking is that you go out and you put energy into trying to, into helping us get hemp into the public consciousness. Because two things I noticed, in my opinion, since the 60s, you know, whatever changes and influence was made in the 60s, but since then, there's only been two movements that I'm aware of that have generated enough energy to influence public consciousness on a national scale. So you know, and that's the gays and the lesbians and the medical marijuana people. Because they went from being 10, 15 years ago to being outcast and the state waging and, you know, all this, I mean, real hate and resources being tossed at these two entities. But here it is now, let's say 15 years later, all right, and the medical marijuana, the gays and lesbians, see, there's this, but all the other social movements, anti-war, stop the war, you know, save the, nobody changed consciousness. These are the two entities, all right? And I was thinking, well, what is that about? Well, it's really, in a way, it's because it's the energy they put into it. They were committed to, they understood this is necessary, and they put their energy and their focus, and they wouldn't accept no for an answer. So in a way, so it was like about, to me, it's about the energy that was put into it. You know, there was just like this energy that the gays,
We need
lesbians,
to
medical
put
marijuana people put into it.
human conscious, coherent
that's
energy
right.
toward creating
and they made it
hemp
happen.
for energy,
That's
for
right.
electrical
Relentlessness
power.
about it.
Yeah, see, they wouldn't accept no for an
That's
answer.
right.
You know, so they made it to happen in that kind of a way, and so we're kind of looking, well, maybe it's got to do with how the energy gets. So anyway, we're just looking around now and saying to the people that are seriously about looking at the environmental and alternative clean energy, the healthiest one out there is hemp. It's the healthiest one. But we're looking at hemp as alternative energy, but we're looking at wild seed hemp, natural seed.
There's plenty of it in Nebraska, I know that.
Well, but see, but my point being is the places that have accepted industrial hemp, whether it's in Canada or Germany, wherever it's at,
right.
all right, it's that 0.3% THC content.
It's a patented strain.
Yeah,
too.
it's GMO stuff or whatever you call it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas it limits the productivity of the hemp, so you can't get as much oil, protein. You don't get as much of anything out of it. Whereas if you, I think it's 3% THC. You get into that 3 to 4% THC content to the seed, and you get maybe 15 times as much product. From hemp oil to seed to oil, to
the protein,
the protein, the oils, all of this stuff. See, so because what has happened where hemp does, this thing called industrial hemp, where it does have acceptability right now, is at that 0.3% THC content. All right,
and that doesn't compete for oil and energy.
So when we're talking about industrial hemp as an alternative energy, we're looking at what we'll call the wild seed. All right, strength of 3%, at least 3% THC. This is what grows natural in Nebraska and different places, because this is, it's more efficient and it's healthier.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas because it's at 0.3%, because the Petrochemical Plastic Society, right?
That's
they
what
know
they'll allow.
That's right, because they know that otherwise it becomes a competition to them, and that's why it exists as it exists. All right, but it's the seed content, 3% THC versus 0.3 tenths. In a way, my attitude is, we can complain and blame the bad guys, and we can cry around a lot about how they're not fair and things like that, but that's who they are.
Always been that way.
All right, and that's just plain simple reality.
It is what it is.
And I just think when I look at hemp, I'm specifically towards hemp, is like they were mentioning earlier about the California Proposition 19. If that passes, see, then that's also inclusive of hemp.
Yeah, it is.
And, so there's kind of a major thing kind of happening around that part of it. But anyways, I was going to say about the hemp thing, the only thing I would add is, is like the people that really are seriously environmentally oriented, I think that there should be serious consideration of hemp. It's just at least check it out.
Yeah, I think that's the whole reason it's illegal.
And then, the reason hemp is illegal is because, marijuana was made illegal in the first place to shut down hemp.
Exactly.
That's why it was made illegal. They went after hemp through marijuana.
That's correct.
Well, now marijuana's starting to come back in, so now bring hemp back in. The same way they went after it, let's bring it back in that way. But the marijuana prohibition had everything to, it didn't have anything to do with getting high on pot. It had everything to do with hemp. Cutting down the forest and the petrochemical now going to the oil stuff, all of this had fallen into place. But anyway, so I think people that are seriously considering about being environmentalist, and I'm not challenging anything they're doing, I'm just saying, hey, if you're for real about the environment, this is earth medicine. It's renewable, it's earth medicine, and it just plain and simply is. To the medical marijuana people, let's say, all right, well, we're getting the medicine for ourselves, now let's come back and get it for the earth, because she's the one that's giving us our medicine in the first place. But see, I'm saying out of all of this, and out of the hemp marijuana people, we should be the ones that show our dedicated loyalty to the earth. All right, and hemp is, it's really, well, anyway, it's it's productive, and it doesn't harm the earth. You don't need the pesticides, you don't need the chemicals, realities.
Yeah, it helps regenerate the soil.
Yeah, it does, so I think, but anyway, that's what I would add.